Go Chundria, Chundria, it's Chundria Show.
Get to know Johneri'O Scott. He's a talk show host and HIV advocate. Through his I Am Not HIV campaign, he strives to spread awareness and empower others affected with HIV.
Johneri'O Scott, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you?
Listen, I am well. Thank you so much for just accepting the invitation. Thank you for having me on your beautiful platform.
Thank you. Please, let's dive on in. Tell me your inspiration for launching your I Am Not HIV campaign to stop the stigma. So noble of you.
Listen, I actually got the idea in 2019, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't really mentally, emotionally. It was like I wanted to do it, but then it was like, Johneri'O, like, once this is out there, it's out there. And I was like, I was at that time. I was thinking about, helping other people because my profession, my 9 to 5, I work at a non-profit here in Atlanta called Aid Atlanta, where we do HIV testing, STI testing, and treatment. So I come in contact with people all the time, telling them my story, strangers, and I'm just like, Johneri'O, you're telling this bulk of people for this last year, you don't know them, and you're inspiring, empowering them. And I created my talk show to inspire, empower, and motivate. So I was like, that's even, I'm doing more. And it's my truth, is my testimony. And I just want to just educate people and let them know that, is the stigma that you see or that you heard, it is not that. Like, we are original, we're just regular people. We just have to take that, take a pill a day, or just go those prevention methods. But again, I just created the platform I Am Not HIV because I want people to know that you don't make that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the situation doesn't make you. You make the situation.
Right.
So it's like, I'm like I said during the campaign, I'm not HIV. I'm a son. I'm a published author. I'm a talk show host. Like, you can be all these things. You don't have to just be what people would, categorize you as. And I tell people, it's not only for HIV. You can say, I'm not cancer. I am not, high blood pressure. I'm not whatever your situation is.
Right. It doesn't define me. There's more to my life.
Right.
More to my life. I think that's amazing. Right. Outside of that, you've interviewed a number of our favorite stars, and you've also written the book, Being It in Media. What have been some of your proudest moments? What have been some of your proudest moments in creating your own content?
Just the opportunities that been prevented. That came about, like BET Awards, Hip Hop Awards, the Gospel Stella Awards. Just knowing that I created this is my baby, and that once you work hard at something, and as long as you continue to believe and trust yourself, then it's up. So just creating my platform was definitely has presented so many opportunities, and it actually just proved to myself that you can do anything.
And you have proven that. You are truly an inspiration. Now, as a talk show host of Now Let's Talk, how have you used your platform to raise awareness and allow your audience to get to know the personal side of you?
Well, I said that I was going to be more personal this year. So I started in December with the I Am Not HIV campaign. And I just do more lifestyle, kind of, with my pictures and with my posts that I say and that I have. Sometimes I go live and just talk. Sometimes I post a quote, or if I'm feeling some type of way, I just put it, because I know, like, I had to understand that I'm not the only one going through. I'm not the only one feeling like this. And if I can help someone in any kind of way, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my life out there and do it. And whatever the outcome is, hey, as long as if I can help one person, then I did my job.
You know, your drive is so admirable. Like, you could see it, like your passion for success, your passion for the arts, you know, your passion for people, it exudes even on the screen today. What do you attribute to your resilience in your own experience as a college student living with HIV?
Well, it was, so I graduated in 2014, December, and I actually found out in March 2015. So I had just graduated from college. So, you know, I still was going through that momentum of, I gotta find a job now, like, how I'm gonna do this, and then having to find that out, it just was like, yo, I'm over here trying to get this part of my life together, and then bam, I'm gonna get crashed with this. So it was just like, just finding the strength through God, like prayer. The first day that I found out, I went directly home and told my mom. Like, I was like, if I need help, or if I'm going to make it through this, I have to tell my mom. I need her help. I need her strength, her prayers. Like, it just was, and that's because I found strength through my mom, and through I tell people this all the time. Through finding out my status, I found more strength that I didn't even know that I had. So just, you know, being consistent, finding that strength, and just prayer. Like, prayer, it was. I wouldn't say it was hard, because I felt like God was giving me another chance, because it could have been worse. So I just was like, yo, I'm gonna live my life. Like, I'm gonna live my life. I'm not gonna take any L's, any no's. Everything's gonna be a lesson. And, you know, through, you know, the journey of HIV, you know, right after undergrad, it just made me stronger.
Get to know Dr. Pamela Larde. She's the amazing founder and president of the Academy of Creative Coaching. Dr. Larde and I discuss ways to find and cultivate fulfillment in life.
It's a fantastic day here at the Chundria Show, and I'm most excited about my special guest, Dr. Pamela Larde. Welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great on this lovely Sunday afternoon, evening.
Sunday, yes. So let's talk about you. You are the Associate Professor of Qualitative Research and Higher Education at Mercer University, a Fellow in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council member for Harvard's Institute of Coaching, and the founder president of the Academy of Creative Coaching. How in the world do you balance life, career, personal responsibility, and self-care? Teach us your way.
Yeah, and there's also a publishing company that I realized we left out, but yes, there is also a publishing. You know, it's a matter of just being very strategic about everything I do. Every moment has its purpose. At noon on certain days, I am supposed to be doing this and that. I just schedule my life out in a way that just kind of, and I pace it. I don't do more than 3 major meetings in a day, or maybe really more than 2. I've toned it down. If they're major, I need to give my mind and my attention and my energy to it. So I really take a lot of time to set firm boundaries and scheduling the heck out of my life.
Okay, so you schedule the important stuff, the meetings, the businesses, and all of that. It sounds like you also schedule your self-care, your quality time, your family time, and all of that as well, right?
Absolutely. It has been crucial for COVID survival. I have made it a point to, because I usually travel. My cousin and I had made a commitment. We're traveling once a month. And with COVID, that's been kind of challenging. So I have gotten really creative about it. I mean, just this past week, I did an Airbnb by myself in Hilton Head just to write, to get caught up. I was on a lake. I got to sit and I scheduled that thing in. And I'm already looking at where am I going in February, because I just need to replenish, and I am doing the whole staying at home thing. I mean, I have been fierce about that. So I need to make sure that I have ways to just kind of release as well.
Fantastic. I mean, we can all glean from that. So self-care is important, and it's equally as important as your responsibility as well. And that's what I took from that. Like, make sure you take care of yourself. So how does the Academy of Creative Coaching serve in the marketplace? What's your company's mission?
I'm sorry, say that part again.
What's your company's mission?
Okay, well, really, we are a coach training company, and what we do is we train and prepare coaches to, we certify them and we train and prepare them to coach other people in different industries. Our mission is to empower coaches for creative life change. And so what we want to do, and formerly it was empowering coaches to empower the world. So we still kind of are grounded in that idea as well, because our trainees come from all over the world. And we want to make sure that they are equipped with everything they need, from understanding themselves and being able to make holistic change within themselves, but also being able to do that with anybody that they're working with. So we are right now the only Black female-owned, fully accredited coaching school in the world. And I take great pride in that. Not that I always want to be, because I want people to come in after me as well. And there are other women-owned coaching, Black women-owned coaching schools. There's probably 2. And right now we're the only one that's fully accredited. And we are really serious about integrating in our curriculum concepts about identity and what that means and what representation means in different coaching relationships. So we really try to integrate the whole person in the work that we do.
I love that. And I love that. I mean, like you say, I'm not trying to be out here by myself, but I love that, when you're the first person to do something, you set the pathway so that you can invite others to come behind you. So it's very inspirational. I really. So COVID-19 has affected the mental state of many people all over the world. In your opinion, how does a person know whether they are unfulfilled or just reeling from the effects of the pandemic?
That's a really good question. I think so. Self-awareness, it always comes back to self-awareness for me, and, just checking in on yourself, having people who can be a mirror for you. Are you okay? Are you having a bad day, or are you actually spiraling? And when you're spiraling, that tends to last a little bit longer than the moment. It's kind of like the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is based on what's happening. Joy is something that you have internal that you can maintain despite what's going on. Well, the opposite is also true. It's like the difference between feeling momentarily sad or being actually depressed. Momentarily sad is just like the opposite of happiness. It's about what's going on in the moment. Depression is something that persists. And what the professionals say is that if you are experiencing this for at least 2 weeks or more, it's time to really pay attention and to do something about it.
Listening to your body, being aware, you said self-awareness in terms of your feelings, being transparent, I hear that too.
That's huge.
Honest with yourself about how you're feeling and why that is.
There's no need to fake it.
Seriously, do not fake it. Let's talk about, in the spirit of resiliency and triumph, what are some tips to help us all feel more fulfilled in life? For the go-getters in the room who are, not letting a pandemic stop them from doing anything, or who may feel like this is the time, I've got the downtime, I've got the, time at home to create. I've had the time. I know people have written books during quarantine, and people have done some amazing things. I myself launched a production company in quarantine. So, for the go-getters that are watching, what are some tips to help us feel more fulfilled? While we're charged, you don't want to, run into burnout either.
Yeah. Well, so I treat it the same as heartbreak, and I know that's kind of weird, but the first book that I wrote is called Letters to the Brokenhearted, and I gave 4 particular goals that we need to be focused on while we're trying to get over heartbreak. And I don't really see that much different as while we're trying to get through COVID. And so one is your professional goal. So like you started a production company. That is a fantastic production goal to have strove for, to achieve, right? And so what is it that you can do to better position yourself professionally, or to find more fulfillment in the professional thing that you do?
Get to know Call Me Ace. He's a dynamic hip-hop artist making incredible waves in the music industry as a Billboard charting artist while tackling a corporate day job in the tech world. We discuss his inspirations, mantras, and secret to balancing music and career. Call Me Ace, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
Hey, good afternoon. Doing well, holding up. Thankful for the next day that we have, and thankful for doing this with you.
Wow. Now I'm so impressed because, a lot of people work those 9 to 5s and then they have these grandiose dreams. And, sometimes you have the idea that you're going to eventually someday get rid of that 9 to 5 and then just focus on, you know, whatever you do at night or whatever, you know, you're most passionate about. But I love to hear from someone who is multi-faceted in that, right? So you're a corporate worker by day. And I read that you said you were dedicated to living a rich life, not just a life full of riches. What does having a rich life personally mean to you, since you're living these two worlds?
No, definitely. I mean, well, you know, first off, doing the juggle is, I wouldn't encourage it unless you really want it, you know? And so for me, it goes with living a rich life, you know. Part of it is like an experiential aspect of it, right? Like pursuing the unknown, or, you know, learning something new, growing in myself. But you know, it also is more than just me. It's living a life of significance, being able to then pour into others, you know, share the things that I've gained to other people so that they as well can grow. If they're growing, if they're winning, then I'm growing, I'm winning. And so, you know, instead of just being like, oh, look at me, like, look at all that I got, it's like, actually, like, what can I share with people? You know, my little niece, honestly, I was talking to her 2 days ago, and she was like, you know, uncle, like, just seeing you live outside of Bridgeport, Connecticut, living in Barcelona, Spain, doing what you're doing, like it helps me, you know, with my dreams and my passions. And so by literally just living the life that I'm living, understanding how that impacts others, that's what it means for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's like poetry. And I love that you are a role model for your little niece, like for her to see that. That's amazing. So let's talk about your next album, Out of Office, which is premiering in February 2021. What type of musical illustrations can your audience expect from this project?
Oh man, a myriad of things. I'm talking about the lack of diversity and equity in the workplace. I'm talking about first generation immigrant dilemmas, you know, working to survive versus, you know, living and experiencing. I'm talking about mental health challenges. I'm talking about Black love and, you know, couple goals, if you will. I'm talking, you know, building generational wealth. What does that mean, right? Like all these kind of things and more, for sure. All like with some lyrics and flow and metaphors and all that.
So do you come up with these concepts? Do you have a team, or do you know what inspires you?
It's me. What inspires me, just the life that I live. You know, I'm thankful that I do have a team that's growing. You know, shout outs to Brianna, shout outs to Brian and J-Dot, and I can go on, right? Like, you know, I even have interns right now. It's a beautiful thing. But none of these amazing people would be around me if I wasn't, you know, actively trying to do this. I mean, when no one was around, I still had to do it, right? And so, you know, it really just comes from the fact that I do believe that I have a calling. I do believe that I have something that people want to hear. And, you know, every now and then you're like, man, am I just talking to myself? But then, you know, someone just hit me up, you know, a fan from Russia that heard me on SoundCloud, or a new fan in India that found me on YouTube. And it's like, keep doing what you're doing, don't stop, you know? And it's like, okay, I see, you know? And so that definitely helps. That helps.
Well, now your latest music video for No Assistance is featured in the NBA 2K21 game. As an independent artist, how meaningful is it for you to attract these types of major opportunities?
I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's cool, right? Like to, you know, if you look at like the No Assistance video or the audio video on YouTube, you'll see like people being like, I heard this on 2K, or, oh man, I've been looking for this for a long time. Like when they heard it, right? And like you see the metrics, right? The number of Shazams that are occurring, right? And like I can only attribute it to the fact that like it's coming from the game. So like I see the impact for sure, but I mean, at the same exact time, like, and you know, I don't say this in like any kind of like facetious way, but like it's just a thing. Like I still got to keep going, you know. It's like I'm thankful for the milestones for sure, but like I can't dwell on the past, you know what I mean? It's a new day, you know. There's still, I got a laundry list of things that I want to do still, right? And so while I am thankful for it, you know, I just see it as like another step in the staircase.
Well, I'll tell you this, your humility is inspirational and admirable, because I mean, some people could be like, I'm on the game, you know, don't talk to me.
Nah, I'm still thankful you're talking to me.
You're still moving forward and still creating. Jasmine Young, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So let's dive on in our interview today. I'm excited to chat with you. As a certified public accountant and founder of Southern Tax Preparation and Services, tell me, what inspired your affinity to help people become financially empowered?
So it's really a funny story. I was one of 3 co-captains of my high school basketball team. And as a captain, we were charged with picking the uniforms for the team for the year. So me and the other 2 co-captains were sitting looking through magazines, and I just got so fed up with it. I was like, oh my goodness, y'all, whatever y'all pick, just let me know and I'll just pay for it. And the comment I got back was, well, everybody's not fed with a silver spoon like you, Jasmine. And it really irritated me. I was upset because I'm like, I'm not fed with a silver spoon. Like, my dad was a trash man. My mom was a seamstress at the local Vanity Fair. So I didn't feel like I was getting anything, special or privileged that anybody else wasn't getting. I mean, we were working class. My mom and dad, I saw them work hard. They held each other accountable for the finances of the home. They explained to my brother and I about, why we couldn't get certain things, or if we had to wait to get certain things. And then whatever they didn't know as it relates to finances, they reached out to people. They educated themselves. So I knew that to my peers, it appeared that I was getting something privileged, but I realized that they were in a place of poverty and they weren't even getting the basics that I was getting. So when I realized that the negative connotation of, oh, you're fed with a silver spoon, was really, hey, you have access to resources and education that we don't have. That's what sparked me to say, hey, I'm going to be an accountant and I'm going to be the resource for people to get just the bare minimum, the basics to become financially literate, because the people in my community, they just weren't getting it.
Oh, I love that so much. Such a passionate story, and I love your affinity for helping people, and that's just, man, that's amazing. So you launched Financial Literacy University, 100% online financial platform. Tell me about the program and its offerings.
So Financial Literacy University really goes back to, the negative connotation of being fed with a silver spoon and not having access to the resources and the education to become financially literate. So I started Financial Literacy University as a 100% online platform, like you stated, for people to enroll in courses and educate themselves as they go on the different facets of financial literacy so that they can become financially literate. So there are classes for both individuals and entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, you can enroll to the university as well, but the classes cover budgeting, credit, taxes, health insurance, life insurance, retirement planning, estate planning. It basically gives you the basics of each financial literacy facet so that you can test yourself to see, okay, what is it that I'm not doing that I can do to become financially literate, or what am I doing? What can I do better? And then for the entrepreneurs, it teaches you how to start a business from start to finish legally. How do you pick your business structure? How do you manage your finances? What should I be looking for as a business owner? It teaches you everything to use your money to work for you and become financially literate. So you can enroll as a student. There's 3 different tiers of student tuition. You have the general students, where you can enroll and you get access to all of the courses. You get a month consultation with me. It's included in your tuition. And then if you are a premier student, you get the same thing that general students get, but you also get our financial literacy wellness planner that actually guides you on each facet of financial literacy. There's a questionnaire each month that you have to answer that will tell you which facets you need to work on and which ones you have accomplished. And then we have the entrepreneur student tuition that includes everything that the premier and general students get, but it also includes the entrepreneur's planner that actually helps you start setting up your business legally, from your EIN number to your business structure to your business bank account. And then it helps you to track your income and expenses if you're unable to afford an accountant or a bookkeeper. It guides you on how to track those things each month So at the end of the year, you can literally take that planner and give it to your tax preparer, and they can prepare your taxes based off of that planner.
Wow. I am so impressed. I want that planner. So I'm excited. Like, you have really created alternatives for people no matter really where they are financially.
Right.
And I like that. I like it a lot. For small business owners unable to afford an accountant to manage their finances, what are a few rules of thumb for bookkeeping? What are programs that you would advise, or even some quick methods to just track? Because at the end of the year, things could get chaotic. So
they can. One thing that I have recommended to a lot of people that can't afford a bookkeeper is keep a running spreadsheet. You can create tabs for the different months and just list out what your expenses were. And you can use the functions in Excel to calculate those as you go. And you can literally take that database and give it to your tax preparer at the end of the year. So you won't have to, scramble trying to calculate these receipts and calculate this mileage. You literally have you basically have your own books already put together at the end of the year. That's if you like the manual option. If you want something more electronic, I always recommend Quickbooks Self-Employed. I started off with Quickbooks Self-Employed when I first started my firm. And I don't just push QuickBooks because I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor, but I push it because it integrates with so many other different softwares that people tend to use as business owners, like PayPal and Square and all of that. Even timekeeping apps like T-Sheets, it integrates with a lot of different things. So a lot of the expenses that you would find yourself trying to calculate on your own, it's pulling them in from all of these systems and making it easier for you to focus more on running the business than running your back office. So QuickBooks Self-Employed is a very, very good app. It even tracks mileage. Okay. You can take pictures of your receipts and it uploads them in there. It's really, really good. And it prints out your financial statements for you at any time. Of course, it only gives you what you put into it. So if you don't put anything in it, it's not going to magically create something at the end of the year. So you have to be disciplined enough to use the app. And then too, for those that can't afford a full-time bookkeeper or accountant or a CPA, I always recommend just checking in with them periodically during the year to make sure that you're doing things right. Consultation fees are a lot cheaper than, full-blown bookkeeping or retainer services, if you will. So check in with those people, I would say at least once every quarter, just to say, hey, I've been doing this way. Can you at least just look and see if I'm doing it right, or give me some pointers? That way, you're still getting some professional help in between, but at the same time, if cost is the issue, then you're able to minimize that cost by just going on a consulting basis.